Hey guys, what's up? Today I got a video comparing my RAWLINGS Preferred Pro S88 MO and my Wilson A2K Glove of the Month December 2015. This will probably be my last video with this in my collection. I did trade it. You'll see what I got for it. So yeah. Also, I'm gonna apologize about my speech right now. I have expanders in my mouth. I just got them yesterday, so I'm still working on talking cleanly. Like, it's hard to speak with S's and stuff, so if it sounds a little bit awkward, it won't be for long. I just need to get used to it. So yeah, I'm gonna be comparing these two gloves. Which glove I kind of like more quality wise, what I like about it, what I don't. So yeah. So first off, comparing the leather, of course RAWLINGS with the kit leather, and you still got the A2Ks with steer hide, which is a really high grade of steer hide leather, but it's still not the quality of kit. It is a little bit rougher, I'd say, while the kit leather is quite a bit smoother. You can just feel it. It's a little bit softer. It's like this is a little bit harder, and it does soften up a little bit. But even though this can come in pretty hard, it does soften up quite a bit once you use it. Like, the inside will get really supple and smooth. This still stays pretty rough. But yeah, I honestly do like the kit leather more. I just am more of a fan of it. I used to have a lot more preferreds, but I did move a lot of them. But yeah, so in my opinion, I like the RAWLINGS leather more. A lot of people do like the steer hide leather, which is also the Wilson leather, but honestly, I'm more of a fan of the preferred just because I like the smooth leather feel. I like how soft it gets. And yeah. So if I had to choose between RAWLINGS, like leather-wise, I'd pick the kit leather. Even against RAWLINGS, only hard the hide leather, I'd rather have kit. Yeah. So, lacing. I haven't really seen the lacing on this. This is a good lace, just because it was relaced. I heard it wasn't the greatest. I talked to the guy. I mean, it was okay, but it's still not RAWLINGS quality. RAWLINGS Tanners, which is probably the best lace you can get. It is usually, depending on the color, really soft and flexible and stuff, and it's not very stiff. I wouldn't be surprised because on Aaron's, his is really stiff. The lace is a little bit stiffer on Wilson. It's not gonna be as thick. But that also has to do with the color. It also has to do with the color of the lace. Usually, the colors that aren't as naturally colored, like red, navy, royal, you aren't going to see as flexible as lace. You're going to see more stiff because of the dyeing process and the colors in it. That's why usually with brown, black, camel, and colors like those, it will be a little bit more flexible. It will be softer and all that. Tan lace, however, is meant to be stiff, so don't be surprised by that at all. So yeah, I am more of a fan of RAWLINGS lace, just as everyone probably is. It's really thick, strong, durable. Wilson lace definitely is getting better, but it definitely still isn't up to par with the RAWLINGS lace. But yeah, so that's really it for the lace. I'm going to go over the pattern, sort of. The 1786 pattern is probably one of the best patterns out there. This looks really, like, faded, but it's not, honestly. I don't know why it looks so faded. But 1786 is usually one of the most popular patterns just because it can be formed to, like, any form you want. A flare, roll, flare and thumb, roll and pinky, straight fingers, with the dual welting, is not as easy, but the rolled, like the nice curved fingers, which most people do like, making it more rolled. While, so this is probably one of the most liked patterns for baseball gloves. I see a lot of people like them. Everyone talks about how nice they are, and they are really good patterns. Very flexible pocket, can make it shallow, deep, in the middle, all that. And yeah, so it's basically probably one of the best patterns for middle infield. It just comes in with a great infield form, nice and wide. But it can be put to more of a narrow pattern. But yeah. While on the other hand, the Rawlings patterns really, there's tons of them. While Wilson for infield, you really have the 1788, the 86, you got the trapeze. I think that might be the, I don't know what that pattern is, but you got the PP05, 1787, and all those infield patterns. Not as many. But on the other hand, Rawlings has like the Pro S88, which is, and all that stuff, which really, it's hard to remember all of them, while Wilson can remember all of them. And Wilson is sort of based on the same thing. They're all quite similar. They're all kind of rolled, a little bit wider. Well, they're just really just different sizes. But like the 1788 has a different web, like spirals up top, and it's a little bit more rolled. While this is just like more of a wider pattern with straight thumb and pinky, and then the 1787 is just this with more narrow. Well, in Rawlings usually, and Wilson gloves usually play, I would say, closer to the actual size in Rawlings. Usually the 1788, it's a little bit smaller than 11.25, but I believe that Wilson does a better job with their sizes, because this definitely is an 11.25. That's probably closer to 11.25 than this is. Rawlings patterns are kind of all over the place. They have their Rawlings 1786 pattern is a Pro 200. They have that in different sizes though. They have that in 11.5, 11.75, and 12, all the way up to 12 and a fourth, I think. And yeah. So that's probably the most popular pattern by far for Rawlings. But they also, which is basically the 1786, just except it doesn't have this thing right here. Same single welting. But it is a little bit more, I think, of a deeper pattern. And it's a little bit more squared at the heel compared to this. But those are basically the two patterns that are tops for both companies. Rawlings does do the single welting. I just prefer the single welting over the dual welting just because I like straighter fingers. Oh my god, sorry guys about my speech. Just because of the spray. Sorry, I had to take it out. Because of the straighter fingers. It just helps me. I just am more of a fan of a flatter glove. But I do like the roll fingers. It definitely does look a lot nicer. So does a dual welting. I just think it looks cooler. But either way, Rawlings is just, their patterns are kind of not very consistent on size, I would say. Because the NP patterns usually play a quarter of an inch bigger, I would say. Like the MP5, Aaron's Donaldson's freaking ginormous. Like, it's huge for 11.75. I mean, it's a great third base glove and all, but it's quite big for MP5, I would think. And their just sizes aren't very consistent. You can get two of the same glove, and the sizes would probably be like half an inch difference. I had my Pro S12 CBR, both of them, and my second one was so much smaller than my first one. It was crazy. But I honestly do like the Wilson patterns more, just because they are a little bit more consistent. You know what you're gonna get. You can form them however you want. Whereas Rawlings is a little bit more, you get what you get. That's what it's gonna form. It's gonna be a lot harder to form it than anything else. And yeah, like, you're not gonna get a it's going to be hard to get an NP pattern and roll it. It's just not really going to happen like a 1786. So yeah, I just like Wilson more of that, just comparing those two parts. I'm just going to quickly go over the lining. I do like petards a lot. I love petards. A lot of people don't, but I just do. A2K lining, a lot of people like that more than petards, but in my opinion, I absolutely love petards way more than the A2K. Just not a big fan of it. Don't really like how it feels. Yeah. RAWLINGS and fur. More of a fan of the fur, honestly, just because that's what I've been using my whole life, really. So a lot of people have been using. I just don't really care for the RAWLINGS. I don't like how it feels on the back of my hand. I mean, it's okay, but yeah. How the gloves, oh yeah. The thumb on the Wilson does have this extra loop that makes it a lot more comfortable, while here it just has the normal thumb loop, which isn't nearly as comfortable as the 1786. They both form quite well, I think. I do like how the Wilson gloves are a little bit more customizable when it comes to form. But RAWLINGS, I think, does have a little bit more. No, not gonna say that. I just think Wilson they form better. Aaron's December is pretty nice. I've formed really nicely. Whereas, like, my Pro 17 ICC isn't really forming how I want to. I like RAWLINGS stiffness a little bit better. It comes a little bit stiffer usually. They don't break in as quick. The leather is just thicker. The inserts are usually thicker, which also makes it somewhat harder to form, but yeah. Wilson does have good inserts on some gloves, some they don't. I think the dual welting does help keep the fingers a little bit stiffer though, because RAWLINGS fingers can get a little bit flimsy. These aren't, but my Pro 17 CBR and my mesh is. That's the thing with RAWLINGS mesh and Wilson Super Skin. I don't have a Wilson Super Skin at all, but RAWLINGS mesh, I think, really loosens up the fingers, which I do not like at all. I felt the Wilson Super Skin, and I think it makes it a little bit stiffer, honestly. That's just my opinion. I would rather have the stiffness, but I do like the mesh more, just because I like mesh and how it feels better. So, but yeah, so craftsmanship, both gloves have great craftsmanship. They both are very few mistakes, if any at all. Oh, sorry guys, my phone's overheating. But yeah, both have great craftsmanship. Both stitching is amazing. Both gloves are made really well. And yeah, so that was just a little comparison, comparing these two gloves, like just similarities and differences. I just am more of a fan of RAWLINGS, just because the kip leathers, honestly, I just love that leather so much. I can't get over it. I will plan on gaming that for kip for as long as I can. I got this Pro Preferred and my Gamer. They're both kip. I plan on using both. I have my Pro 217. And yeah. So unfortunately, I am getting rid of this, but I think I'm getting a glove that I'll really like. But yeah. Really like both gloves. Both companies are amazing. I just like more RAWLINGS. Some people like more Wilson. It's all personal preference. Whatever you're more comfortable with using, I'll go with that. I think Wilsons are usually a little bit lighter, and they can form to your hand a little bit quicker, but they form to your hand as well as RAWLINGS. They just take longer to form. So they're both just great gloves to game. They both form to your hands really well. They're just amazing gloves. And yeah, hope you guys like this video. Comment, subscribe, and let me know if you want more of these comparing other gloves. So yeah, see you guys later. Hope to see you guys in the next one.